Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnacker, and just want to let you know that we are watching live as we are expecting a press conference to begin really at any moment now. And this is regarding the BioLab chemical plant where there was that hazardous fire. And apologize, it looks like they're doing some camera work to prepare for this press conference. But here's some footage from what we're talking about, this incident that there's been so much fallout from. But now we are expecting Rockdale County officials to announce a lawsuit against BioLab. And this is the story that we've been covering extensively here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. The company responsible for that chemical fire in Rockdale County is BioLab. And this is a federal lawsuit that they're being hit with by county officials. Remember, that fire caused a chemical plume to fill the air for days. Now students are finally able to resume class in person 3 weeks after the fire. It's been 3 weeks.
Protesters marched around Conyers calling for the closure of BioLab.
When this chemical fire started at BioLab, it disrupted the whole county. Thousands had to evacuate or shelter in place. Businesses closed and students were sent to virtual learning. And today is the first day that Rockdale County students are returning to in-person learning in about 3 weeks. Late Thursday afternoon, Rockdale County Superintendent Terry Oates announced in a message to parents that students would resume in-person learning today, saying in part, quote, "While we acknowledge that virtual learning is not our preferred method for providing instructions, the reality is that it may occasionally be necessary, such as in this instance. The chemical fire started when a faulty sprinkler sprayed water on the chemical trichlor, causing a chemical plume to rise into the air where it remained for days. Rockdale County Fire Rescue Chief Marion McDaniel said 4 million pounds of the chemical were in the plant at the time of the fire. Firefighters used nearly 800 gallons of water to neutralize it. Parents in the county say the move to virtual learning has been difficult.
They're caught off guard now of, what are we going to do? How are we going to work and, make sure our little ones are taken care of, because everybody's not working at home.
And the county officially lifted the shelter in place on Thursday. In Conyers, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
And so much fallout following that fire at the BioLab facility in Conyers, and there were protests held over the weekend, growing calls for that plant to actually be shut down. Blake Devine has a look at some of the protests over the weekend.
Protesters marched around Conyers calling for the closure of BioLab. Just 3 weeks ago, the plant caught fire, causing this chemical plume, as thousands evacuated and many more sheltered in place for nearly 19 days.
BioLab needs to be shut down because BioLab negligibly have shut down the health of the people that live in Rockdale County.
We fight for the rights of the people, and we are fighting for y'all right now.
Community advocates such as Brian L. Jenkins hope to raise awareness on the long-term health and economic impacts of this incident.
It's shameful that we have elected officials who allow the existence of this poisonous entity into Rockdale.
It smelled like chlorine.
Kimberly Hegwood worked at BioLab until the fire. Since then, she says her job and pay unofficially ended.
It's really concerning because this shouldn't be happening in the first place, because a lot of people are affected, their health, but probably their livelihood too.
While the shelter-in-place order was lifted by local leaders earlier this week, Rockdale residents remain fearful of the long-term effects of what they may have been exposed to.
I don't trust the air quality. I don't believe it's still safe for any of us to be breathing.
Since the plant caught fire,
I'm on disability.
Sandra Stevens Jordan has been suffering from severe symptoms, spending Friday night in the emergency room after an asthma attack. With this being the third incident at the chemical facility in the last 20 years, she hopes local leaders shut down BioLab.
They need to be held accountable of their actions. It's happened too many times. They don't need to be anywhere around here.
Reporting in Conyers, Blake Devine, Atlanta News First.
And I want to take you now to a live look again as the press conference seems to be getting underway, announcing a lawsuit against BioLab.
Major focuses of media attention, not just in Rockdale County and the state of Georgia, but worldwide. But today is about the people. Today, the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners stands in protection of not just Rockdale County residents, but all people that have been affected by the negligence and malfeasance of BioLab. We, the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners, have engaged Napoli and Skolnick to file a federal lawsuit and first compensating the county for the nuisance that they have created, but also having them permanently shut down in Rockdale County. We can no longer stand by and allow a corporation to continuously affect our current and future physical health, our mental health, and our overall quality of life. Even our precious children's education has been affected by this company's malfeasance. BioLab has had at least 4 instances of negligence in the 20 years that it has operated in this community. At this point, their risk to our community far outweighs any benefit that we could possibly glean from their operation in this county. For 3 weeks, I have listened to the numerous physical, mental, and emotional tolls that this company's negligence has caused our residents, and we want them gone. And I will fight until my last breath to have them removed. Today, we stand for the people. We stand for environmental justice. We stand for the future. By filing this lawsuit, we will prove that no corporation is above the law and no profit is worth the price of our community's well-being. Thank you. Commissioner Williams?
I'm Commissioner Doreen Williams, Post 2, and I want to put a more personal spin on this. We live within the 2-mile radius and we're forced to evacuate, which necessitates, of course, an inconvenience, especially due to my daughter who lives with us who has respiratory issues and my husband who has heart issues and respiratory issues. If you could see the picture of that plume going over our house, you would understand the seriousness of this. Even our dog was affected and took some time for him to recover. This is not good for our community. It's not right. It's not good for our state or for the nation to have this kind of neglect by BioLab in our community. So I also say that we need to get them to move someplace else and not be here and putting our lives in danger.
Good morning. My name's Shayna Sachs. I'm a partner with Napoli Shkolnick. Thank you for coming today. I stand before you today to address the recent catastrophic explosion that happened on September 29th at BioLab's facility here in Conyers. And I'm going to talk about the legal steps that we're taking on behalf of the county. While the details are being finalized, I can provide you with the following information. Our primary focus will be on BioLab and its parent company, Kick Consumer Products, and holding them accountable for any negligence or misconduct that we uncover. We'll be seeking comprehensive remediation of all the affected areas and pursuing fair compensation for damages to the county and its residents. We're committed to a thorough investigation of the incident, including its causes, the extent of the damage, and any long-term implications on the county's environment and the health of its residents. Our firm has extensive experience in complex litigation and environmental cases just like this, and have successfully represented other municipalities similar to Rockdale in Georgia and around the country. Our team is prepared to utilize all necessary legal tools, including injunctive relief, to address this urgent environmental concern. It's important to note that while we're prepared to litigate this matter fully, we also remain open to good faith negotiations with the company if that leads to a swift and just resolution, as long as the county's concerns are adequately addressed. As we move forward, we're going to work with county officials, environmental experts, health experts, and the affected community to build the case. Our goal is not only to address the immediate issue, but also to set a precedent that enhances corporate responsibility and accountability as it relates to our environment and our community. I certainly understand the gravity of the situation and the concern of the residents here. I participated in the public meeting last week and witnessed the frustration of the residents firsthand. We do plan, in conjunction with the county, on hosting a town hall in the coming weeks so we can again hear firsthand the concerns of the community and make sure they're addressed. But rest assured, we will pursue this matter with utmost diligence, professionalism, and care. Due to the sensitive nature of the potential litigation, I may not be able to answer all of your questions. However, we are committed to transparency. I'm happy to provide information later this week when we file the lawsuit and provide updates as appropriate through the process. Thank you for your attention, and we're here to answer any questions that you have.
So lawsuit has not been filed yet. It will be filed later this week.
Correct. It will be filed later this week.
And for the commissioners, what would you say to people? I know you guys said you've heard them voice concerns. What would you say to some of the folks who said, you know, this incidents like this have happened in the past with this company here? Why now take this step?
In the past, we've had full faith that BioLab would take the necessary precautions that they needed to continue operations, and at this point, we no longer feel that they are doing that.
Excuse me, I have a question for the attorney. You spoke of your firm having experience in dealing with these kinds of situations. Could you be more specific? Or have you handled environmental, and so could you tell us what those were?
Sure. Our firm, we handle all sorts of complex litigation, complex meaning against large companies related to an affected area that's very large. Our firm is a lead in many national negotiations, national settlements. The PFAS litigation, if you've heard of that, which is affecting the water. The opioid litigation, our firm represents the county in that as well. But for close to 30 years or so, this has been our focus.
With your experience, what range does the settlement fall in? The millions, the hundreds of millions?
I couldn't give you an answer. I couldn't give you an answer on that. I would play the lotto if I could answer that kind of question. But I promise that we'll do everything possible to get everything that the county needs and its residents.
Have you handled any part of the Sterigenics litigation?
No, I have not.
Can you speak to the conversations that you have had, if any, with BioLab, any transparency or lack thereof that you're getting from the company?
I have not spoken to BioLab myself.
No, I have not either, and they have not been forthcoming in, getting our attention and reaching out to us.
Right, and I understand they didn't appear at the most recent press conference.
That is correct.
Etc.
When might that town hall be happening? Is there a date set?
There's not been a date set yet. We'll let you know as soon as we set a date.
And if they're not coming to the town hall meeting, would they be offered an option for you to go there to them, the leadership to go to them?
Absolutely. You know that would be right up my alley. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then just to be clear, this is being filed on behalf of all county commissioners, correct?
Yes, this is the Board of Commissioners will ratify their contract tomorrow at our BOC meeting, which will allow them to move forward with the litigation. Any other questions? This is easier than I thought. Thank you. Go ahead.
I assume this encompasses Rockdale County
So they're not involved in the lawsuit as of yet. We will reach out to their counsel to see if they want to join.
Are you aware of any cleanup that was done to allow the children to go back to school today? Is there any cleanup that happened over the weekend of those schools?
We have not been apprised of any facility maintenance that are going on in the Rockdale County school system, but I am sure that our Board of Education members and our superintendent has done everything to make sure that the children are returning to a safe environment.
So I spoke with a teacher yesterday who said yes, they were returning to in-class instruction today, but the children would not be allowed to play outside until they had a chance to clean all of the equipment and make sure that everything was safe for them.
Any other questions?
What's this board's relationship to the former Commissioner of Soil and Water? And was this board aware of his efforts?
When you say his efforts?
His efforts to curb BioLab's behavior?
Our relationship is that he's also an elected official, and I was not aware of any efforts that he's made to curb BioLab's behavior. All right, thank you all.
Okay, so you have just listened live to that press conference by Rockdale County officials announcing that they intend to file a federal lawsuit against BioLab, the facility in Conyers, which is blamed for that massive chemical fire. Of course, there have been protests. There's been growing outrage in the community. Classes just resume in person again. Students just returning to in-person classes for the first time today, 3 weeks after that massive fire. And again, Rockdale County officials making it very clear that they think that BioLab does not belong in their community, and that the risks far outweigh any rewards, any benefits that BioLab could potentially bring to the community. Again, announcing that they are filing a federal lawsuit against BioLab for nuisance and other harms that they say were caused by that company, and they're claiming that there were numerous instances of essentially illegal, tortious behavior by BioLab over the years. We're going to continue our coverage here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. If you haven't done so yet, I encourage you to download our free app, and you can get updates sent right to your phone. Thanks for joining us.